What's up guys, it's Cobalt here. As you can see, I'm on my desk today, which means we are going to be making an LPS custom. So I'm feeling a little bit inspired by LPS Emily today. She has this series on her channel where she basically takes two completely random LPS, makes a crazy head swap out of them, and then makes a really cute custom. I'm sure all of you guys have seen that series up on her channel, but if you haven't, I would highly recommend. So I'm not necessarily doing a random head swap, but I have a custom that I've been wanting to finish for a long time, kind of sitting in my rejects pile, and it is a wacky head swap. I just haven't gotten around to finishing that custom yet, so I'm going to be doing that in today's video. And the custom is this little guy. So he is a head swap between these two LPS. One of them is a fake mini collie, and then the other one is a G7 turtle triplet. So here's what I have so far. As you can see, I have done the base coat already, and I've done a little bit of sculpting. I did do this base coat quite a while ago though, so I do need to touch it up with one more layer. But for the sculpting, I sculpted his hair and then some fluff on the chest and the legs, as well as a fluffy little dog tail, because it's a turtle dog. I don't really know what prompted me to make this head swap or want to make this custom in the first place, but I do really like this turtle body, and I just decided that it needed a dog head. So in addition to painting this custom with you guys on camera, I'm also challenging myself to use a limited selection of brushes, because I was sent a free little case of brushes from this company called Artify, which I will link down below in the description. They're not paying me to say anything about these brushes, but I figured that since they sent them to me for free, I would dedicate a video to reviewing them. So I'm gonna show you guys the brushes really quick, but if you're not interested in that part, you can skip ahead to this timestamp to watch me start working on the custom. So here is the brush set. You can see the brand Artify here, and these are the 10-piece extreme detailed brush set. Flipping it over, you can see the different types of brushes that this kit comes with. I'm very excited for these really fine-tipped ones. I've never used a fan brush on an LPS custom, so that's kind of interesting. And I also do really appreciate that they have some brush care instructions here as well, because that is definitely something that I need to listen to. But anyways, let's open this kit up and see what these brushes actually look like. So out of the box, they come in this really cool little felt bag. So there's a zipper here on the side that actually buttons to the case itself. And it says Artify right here. Ooh, okay, very fancy. I mean, already I'm loving the aesthetic of these brushes. They look really nice. So all of them have their little cap aside from the two larger brushes, and I really love that it actually tells you the brush measurements here at the top. The bristles feel pretty smooth. This is a little bit of like a chisel brush, it looks like. So this is probably something that I would use for the base coat of this custom. The handles are pretty large or pretty thick compared to what I'm normally used to painting with, but it feels nice to hold as of right now. I'm also not noticing like any stray bristles or anything like that so far, so that is also a really good sign. But I'm really loving this case. This is super nice, especially if you wanted to do some traveling with it. It's also super small and compact, so you can really fit it anywhere without having it take up a lot of space. Okay, so since our little character here is a turtle dog, I definitely want to combine both of those animals into the overall design. A lot of people ask me how I design my customs, and while most of the customs that I do post online are commissions that other people design, when I'm making pre-made customs to sell over on my eBay, I honestly don't really put a lot of thought into how I design them. Usually I'm grabbing a random base and grabbing a selection of colors that I think would work well together, and I kind of just go with the flow and go along with it, adding things, subtracting things, just having a generalized idea in my mind and then making it as I go along, not necessarily following a strict plan. That's just how I like to work. Obviously, if you draw out a design and put a lot of thought into it, your design will be a lot more detailed and look a lot better, but that's just not really how I like to work, because I like to be working on so many projects at once. But for this character in particular, as you can see, I've already given him a dark brown base color. So I'm thinking of doing just like classic pattern for the dog part. But for the turtle part, which I also do want to combine into the face as well, I'm going to be basing it off of a painted turtle, just because that's the turtle species that I've encountered the most in my life. They're pretty common. They're also really colorful. They have a lot of yellows and reds, so I think that would be fun to incorporate into the color palette as well. And I know I definitely want to give this custom green eyes, because green is like a turtle color, and I'm not really going to be using that anywhere else in this design, since I've chosen to do a dark brown base instead of like a dark green or a black like the painted turtles usually have. But the idea that I'm sort of forming in my head, I think will make for a really cute custom, so hopefully it actually turns out pretty cool. Okay, here are all the colors that I'm going to be using for the custom. So I got this reddish orange, the greens for the eyes, which I might incorporate somewhere else, and then I have a couple yellow/yellowy browns here. So I'm going to start going in with the details now. And the brush that I grabbed is this one. I already put some paint on it. This is like, I guess, the largest of the small brushes. According to the side, it is the round brush. So I think I'm gonna add some spots on the face with this yellowish brown to kind of mimic the spots that the turtle has on its face, but I don't want to go like crazy with the stripes. So I'm just gonna do it in a way where it's like, yes, it's the same pattern as the turtle, but it is also kind of like a dog fur pattern maybe. And I think maybe I want to paint the ears too. I'm not sure. Okay, so I did kind of like a symmetrical pattern on both sides. Obviously, it needs to do way more layers. This is just the first layer. Painted the ears, painted the little paws. Like, I didn't even do any extra sculpting to the feet, but it's funny how much the turtle feet already look like paws. I think maybe that's why I wanted to do this project. I feel like I need to add something in the middle of the face with the same color, and then maybe add some of the lighter yellow on top of that. I think that's pretty cute. I'll probably add some on the back of the head, but I want to paint the turtle shell first just so that I know what it's all gonna look like. But for now, that is the first layer of details. Okay, so here is the current state of the custom. I took some time to work on it off camera to touch up the lighter colored details just so I could get a better feel for the brushes. I also decided that I did actually want to add some dark green, so I painted the shell dark green and then we're gonna put the details on that. And I started painting the chest, but obviously that needs to be cleaned up a lot. So I'm going to go in now with these two lighter yellow colors for more of the actual dog-ish markings, and then I will be using these ones for the shell. It's time to paint the little paw pads. So the brush that I'm using for this light yellow is the spotter brush. So you can see it's super tiny. I like this one a lot so far. Obviously the details that I'm adding right now aren't the smallest. I'm holding the custom like all the way out in front of my face instead of super close to it. So that's making it hard to paint on camera. Alright, shell time. I'm going to be painting the spots this lighter green and then the reddish orange as well. It seems like for the painted turtle, the reddish orange mostly appears on the underside of their shell, but I do want to add it on the outside too. Again, I'm not trying to make it look exactly like the turtle, but I just really liked the color palette and the design, so I definitely am taking inspiration for that. Since I'm going to use this lighter green for the eyes as well, I think the majority of these spots will be with the red color. Alright, if the lighting looks different, that is because I've been working on this custom all day and it is now 10 p.m, but we're going to finish him up by doing the eyes. So as you can see, I did a lot more detail and cleanup off camera just because the details are so small. It's a lot easier for me to do away from the camera. But I fixed up his shell. I think it looks pretty cool. I added some little spots here and there. Ignore whatever's happening with my finger. That is paint, not blood. But yeah, I think he looks really cute. And there's his little paw pads. So the last thing that I need to do is the eyes. I've already started doing the eyes. I decided that I wanted the sclera to be green instead of white. So now I'm very excited because I get to use the super tiny brush. This is the liner brush. So obviously it should hopefully be perfect for outlining the eyes. So you can see these two brushes have already been well used just from today, but these were the two that I was using for pretty much all of the details. And I was also using them on a couple other customs that I was working on today. So the one on the top is the round brush and the other one is the short liner. So these have both been really, really good. And it's just really nice to have some brand new super pointy brushes. I'm really, really happy with these. There's still a bunch back here that I haven't really had the chance to use, but again, they're all like super small and narrow. So I will absolutely have a use for these in the future. But enough of me yapping. It's eyeball time. So I'm gonna get my green. This is gonna be for the color of the eyes. So I'm not gonna use the liner brush quite yet. I'm going to stick with the round brush that I've been using. And honestly, I didn't even realize that this is kind of like a double challenge just because of how small this LPS is, especially with the eyes. Okay, not too bad. One of them is a little bit bigger than the other, but I can just add a little bit more paint over here. Yeah, good enough. Okay, I'm not really sure like what kind of style I'm gonna do for the eyes. I guess I'll just kind of do my regular style here, maybe mix it up a little bit with some extra details. I have a tutorial up on my channel now showing you guys how to paint LPS style eyes with like the classic style that a real Littlest Pet Shop has. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. But I'm applying a similar method here. You can definitely tell that I should have waited for the green paint to dry, but it's fine. Yeah, I need to let the paint dry. Okay, the eyes are dry, so now I can finally use the liner brush, and I have a really strong feeling that I am going to horribly mess this up on camera, because trying to customize on camera is so hard. The brush is so tiny. Do you see that? Oh my god, it's out of focus, but I've never used a brush that's this small before. Oh my god, maybe it's too small. I think I just need more paint, actually. You know what? I gotta do this off camera. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, listen, they still need to be cleaned up, but it is good enough for now. I'm gonna add some little eyelashes right here. And then I need to get the neon green color back in and touch up the ends of the black because I kind of messed up right there. And as you can see at this point, I've now resorted to using myself as a human paint palette. Okay, that's not bad. I feel like you guys don't understand how far I'm holding this custom away from my face when painting it, so I just need to show you. Okay, so I'm all the way over here, camera's right here, custom is over here. I don't really know why I'm doing this, but obviously not ideal. Okay, I'm also gonna take some more of this green paint and I'm just gonna do like a dot of it in the black part just to make his eyes a little bit more interesting, and then I'm going to add the actual white eye shines. And so I picked another brush. You can't even see it because I put so much paint on it, but it's another little one. This is the spotter brush and it's one of the ones with a thinner handle. So I think this one will probably work well for the eye shines. I usually mess up on this part, not gonna lie. Yeah, in hindsight, this custom is way too tiny to be painting on camera, but it's fine. Let's add some over here. Okay, so I just keep making it worse at this point, so I need to let it dry, and then I can touch it up with the black paint to actually fix it. But in the meantime, I'm going to do the final step that I do with my customs, which is sign it here on the bottom. So I'm going to get the liner brush again, because I think that one is going to work really well for my signature. And honestly, most people don't even believe that I paint this on, so this is photographic proof right here. So basically, for my signature, I just write Cobalt, and then I write the year that the custom was made in, so this will be 2026, which I need to remind myself because I keep accidentally writing 2025. Well, see, if I was holding this close to my face, it would look a lot better. That might be the worst signature I've ever painted on. I think what I'm actually learning here, aside from the fact that, again, I'm holding this custom way too far away, is that this brush is just way too tiny and I don't know how to use it, which is really surprising. Well, good enough. If you buy this custom, sorry that it looks so horrible. And here is the final custom for today's video. I think he turned out pretty cute, all things considered. He's just a tiny little guy. Again, for a refresher, I sculpted the hair on the top of his head, the chest fluff, the fur on the arms, and the fluffy new dog tail. He's just a puppy with a little turtle shell. I do still think it's really funny how much the original turtle feet just look like paws. I honestly think that's adorable. There's my horrible signature on the bottom that I neglected to fix up. His eyes are obviously the most difficult part to paint, mostly because I was painting them on camera and they are so small. If you guys have never painted this specific mini collie head before, you are in for a real treat when you try to paint the eyes, because wow, definitely something you gotta work your way up towards. If you guys are interested in purchasing this custom, he is not up for sale yet, but next weekend I am planning to do another custom drop up on my eBay store, so be sure to have your notifications on and be on the lookout for that video, because he will be for sale in that batch. Huge thank you once again to Artify for sending me the brushes that I used to paint this custom. I really appreciate it. They were super helpful and I've already been using them to paint a ton of other customs. Again, if you guys are interested in checking out these brushes for yourself, I'll be putting a link to their Amazon store down below in the description. I would also like some feedback from you guys on this video. I've been trying a lot of different things with my time lapses recently, so I want to know if you prefer this style where I kind of talk and paint with you, or if you like the full-blown time lapse with voiceover. Obviously, there's going to be a time and a place for both, so I'll probably still continue to mix it up in the future, but just let me know. I'm also here for any advice you have on just how to record time lapses better. I definitely need to figure out a way that's more practical for me as the artist. But of course, also let me know what you think about this guy, and tell me down below in the comments what is the craziest Littlest Pet Shop head swap you've ever done before. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!